Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. All right, making sure we sound good. How do we look? You see that shit? What's up? I'm just playing around. All right, this one's titled, I'm 40 and I wasted my life. Don't make the same mistake. By Dad Mode, Dark Mode. We actually covered this guy recently, and I'm going to subscribe to him. He looks like he might need it. Anyways, should be fun.
I'm 40 and I wasted my life. I've got nothing to show for it. No house, no savings, no career that I'm proud of. I'm pouring everything that I have into this channel because I've got nothing else. And if you're in your 20s or even your early 30s and you think you've got time, I'm telling you right now, you don't. I wish I had someone in my life when I was younger, someone who actually cared enough about me and was smart enough to show me how life really worked, how women really operated, and what I actually needed to focus on. I didn't have that. I was getting all of my ideas about love and success and women from movies and idiots my own age who didn't know anything at all. So there was no sense of urgency, no perspective, just vibes and dumb plans and this fantasy that everything would somehow work itself out.
Oh, man. I'm somebody who's always been in the group. I'm right there, smack dab in the middle between 30 and 40. But my whole since 14, I was like, I'm going to be a pro skateboarder. That's all I did. That's it. All I did was skateboard and film it and go anywhere that any other pro skateboarder was to have them see me. Okay? All of a sudden, that didn't work out. I'm in my early 20s and I go, shit. I was like, I got to start all over here. Poured a decade of just nonstop into this one thing and then realized I'm not going to make any money from this. Next thing you know, I start doing comedy and skits and I'll be on TV. Right? Next thing you know, that doesn't work out. Well, I didn't really try that hard. Speaking of the people you hang out with, everyone I hung out with, all they did was skate and party. So when you're the only one really trying, it's really easy not to try and just go to the party. But something I will say is when I turned 30, there was like this piece. Before 30, 27, 28, 29, when you don't have it together, or you like really, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm bartending, or you're working some job, not making enough money. You kind of freak out a little bit. And then 30's kind of peaceful. But now imagine turning 40, but you still feel the same way you did at 29 when you didn't have it together. That's something that always kind of freaked me out. And now here I am, making videos on the internet. And I feel pretty at peace about it, but there are days where I go, what am I going to do in 10 years? Like, am I going to be doing this? It's weird. I try not to think about it too much, but my point is if you don't think about it too much, then you end up and you wake up one day and then you're this guy. And I'm rooting for him. We just subscribed to him. But if anybody makes you feel any better, I think we're all kind of winging it a little bit. You know what I mean? Doesn't that sort of make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And it didn't. In my 20s, I thought I was, super deep and cool and, because I had tattoos and, I knew some obscure bands and played drums. And I thought being different was a personality. I wasn't building anything real. I was just chasing sex and novelty, hooking up with women because I was addicted to the high, not the connection, just the rush. I spent more time crushing on church girls who didn't like me and hanging out at coffee shops and smoking cigarettes, drinking lattes and, going to hardcore shows. I did more of that than I did doing anything that would help me long term. I mean, at 23, I was playing ding dong ditch with my friends.
At 23, just playing ding dong ditch still. duck duck goose with the hose. No, dude. Something I will say is I can't stop addicted to the shindig. I was addicted to the party for a little bit. And by for a little bit, I mean like 10 years. But there are people who were like in that scene. And when I say the party, I mean going out twice a week, going to random bars, house parties, anywhere you could stay till 4 in the morning. And I remember when I quit doing it, because I was like, I need to focus up. I was like, I need to do something. I was like, I need to do something with myself, right? Or I'm going to turn 40 like this gentleman and go, fuck. But I realized once I stopped doing that, the reason why people get so caught up in the shindig, is what I like to call it, is because when you go out at 10 at night, from those hours to 10 to 3 in the morning, all of your thoughts and worries are gone.
True.
That's the conclusion I came to. And then what happens after that is that's not enough. And then that's how people start day drinking and just drinking from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. And it actually never solves the issue. I don't know. That's something I noticed for myself. Some people never really had that problem. But I noticed once I walked away from it completely, I'm not like some dude who walks around like, I'm sober. You know, like I'm sober 345 days. You know, it's not, I don't care, right? It's not that deep. But I just noticed the moment I walked away from smoking weed and drinking and partying, everything immediately, not immediately, but it got better by default. You had to find other shit to do that had nothing to do with that. So, just in case you needed to hear that, it does work. And you might not have as many friends as you thought you did. This much, I promise.
Yeah.
This much, I guarantee.
Like I was 13 again, thinking it was hilarious, which it was. But fun times. But I wasted so many hours just trying to get, validation from people who didn't care if I lived or died at the end of the day. I thought my life was meaningful because it looked cool in photos, looked cool on MySpace. But, all I was doing was burning through the most valuable years of my life. The years where I had the most energy, the most flexibility.
You kind of got to admire the ding dong ditch thing, though, in your 20s. That's kind of funny. It's kind of like, that's something you're going to be able to tell forever. That's good. That's good. Just throwing that out there.
And the most time to build something meaningful. Nobody told me I was wasting it. Nobody. And when the world sees you drifting, it doesn't intervene. It just keeps feeding you distraction after distraction, lie after lie, while profiting off of your blindness and ignorance. And then fast forward into my late 20s, then I got into a relationship that wrecked my life. She got pregnant and everything changed.
Oh, something that really kills me. This is something that really fuck with me. I'm going to go full screen on this one. The amount of talented... It's really only been a few, but the amount of guys that I've seen completely throw away their aspirations and dreams for a girl. Not that it was the wrong thing. I'm not saying they couldn't have had a happy ever after. But none of them did have that. But the amount of times this has happened right in front of my face. One of my dearest friends just threw away an entire pro skateboarding career because his girlfriend was ready to settle down.
Damn.
Only for her to just leave him 4 years later and cheat on him. And sometimes it is a significant amount of time. And even when you try to help these people, the worst part is like he wants to like warn young people about this. But the hard truth is most people are going to end up exactly how this guy's feeling right now. And a lot of people do think they have forever. I'm one of those people. I really was like, that's all good. I'll just wait. But I also am somebody who's taken action and really, really tried hard, long and hard, deep. I'm just saying, most people are going to wake up the hard way. And but sometimes that's good. People love a good comeback story. So that's something I want to be positive about. This guy's really in our face right now. I'm going to bring him back down. He's like whew, right up in you.
And I love my son. I would never undo that. But that relationship, it was a disaster. I did not know how to choose wisely at all. I confused chaos and passion and intensity with love because no one ever taught me the difference.
That's something else that no one ever talks about is like you go, why do they want the bad boy? Why do you get into these crazy relationships with crazy chicks and all this stuff? It's the action. Addicted to the shindig. It's the same concept. So when something's always going on, there's always an issue. But it might seem small to us or stupid to somebody like me, where it's like, just break up with the chick. To them, that is their action. That's their life. That's the negativity and the positivity is the same thing. It's still just a feeling. I'm not saying I'm Mr. I know it all. I'm just saying that's the truth. That's what it is. This is something I really looked at. I've really asked myself so many times, why? I'm like, why do people keep themselves in this situation? And the truth is that's all they've got going on. That's it. This action is their action. That is it. Something to think about. Okay, there's a reason why this happens so often. People love drama, man. TNT.
I thought it was normal for things to be dramatic and unpredictable. I thought that meant we were meant to be or something. I don't know. But I don't know what was going on, but instead I ended up in family court fighting for time with my own son, treated like an intruder and a criminal for wanting to be a father. And then in my 30s, my 30s weren't the best years of my life. You hear that a lot. Your 30s will be the best years of your life, 30s and 40s. 30s were a nightmare. I was broke. I was depressed. I was isolated, missing my son constantly, and dealing with games and lies and schemes my ex would pull to destroy the bond between me and my son. I wasn't just dealing with grief. I was dealing with a system that didn't care if I disappeared. And yeah, a few times I, in the midst of all that, tried to date again. I finally started to see what I'd been blind to in my 20s. I was no longer that 27-year-old stuck in a 500 days of summer mindset, falling for manic pixie dream girls, just because they liked the shins too. Now I saw the red flags clearly. Girls with baby rabies, daddy issues, manipulation, all of it. I could spot it instantly. I was like a bloodhound for that kind of thing. It's easy to detect now. That's the part that stings the most. Now I'm 40. I hate my job. But it's not just that. I'm disillusioned by the world. Once you see how everything really works, how broken it all is, you cannot unsee it. Everything feels fake. The economy is a scam. Inflation is gutting families. People are more isolated than ever before. No one's honest. No one's fulfilled. And there's a deep apathy baked into everything now. That's why I'm here. This isn't a content hobby for me. This is me refusing to stay silent. This is me using what I have left to build something real, because the clock is ticking. And also, if I die before I can tell my son any of this, before he can know, he's almost 11. But I want my son to know that his dad didn't just give up, that I fought very hard and went through a lot, and that I bled in silence. That I
All right, he's getting real deep with the son thing. I'll leave the rest to him down below. I'm gonna jump into the comments real fast. But something like the sad truth about a lot of this is like hating your job, and most people just don't do anything about it. Like they just stay there. And I don't know what that is. Maybe people don't believe in themselves. And like, yeah, you can look at the world and go, everything's fucked and things suck and everything's geared and the food's fake and the women, you can't trust them, and you know, you get what I'm saying, okay? Everything's just, what's the point of trying? You could go that route, or like this guy, he's like, I'm not gonna give up. Well, the truth is, most people just never even actually go all in. They don't actually really go for it. I know this because I've been the guy in the group that's always going for it, while everyone else isn't. I'm not saying like I'm better than you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've always wanted something else. It's never been really about the money. Never been like, let me get rich. It's been, I want to do something that I want to kind of enjoy for the rest of my life. I want to try something. I want to be the dude in my life that I feel that way. That's the truth though. Most people just never even try. And that's all it is. You just have to go for it. And it might take forever. That's the fucked up part. Cool thing is it's never too late. Or at least not when you're 40, it's not too late. Maybe if you're like 65, I don't want to be like, it's too late for you. But, at that point, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Most people never fucking go for anything at all, really. Even just quitting one job to go to another regular job that you might hate less, people don't even do that. I'm not talking about something like dramatically insane here, like being an actor or a musician. I'm not even talking about that. Just basic shit. Like the guy who hates his blue collar job and is like, I think I'd be good at selling insurance, but he stays at the blue collar job that he hates forever. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm your age. I won't disagree with your views, but honestly, turning 40 is a wake-up call to most of all of us, regardless of how successful you are. The guy who grinded in his 20s, studied, working, putting a down payment on a house, wakes up at 40 and wants to run away and live free, and regrets not living it up in his younger days. Yeah, that's the classic. I don't regret the shindig lifestyle that I lived. I do not regret it whatsoever. I had a great time. And I knew, like, I'm not going to be doing this when I'm 45. I knew that. I kind of did both. I kind of, like, lived in both worlds. Picture yourself at 67 years old, man. Picture yourself a 67-year-old man who wishes to be 40 again. You are the 60-year-old version of yourself who got a second chance to be 40 again. Let this reinvigorate you, brother. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm 39, no kids, no partner, in a job I hate, and renting. It's a real struggle. Nestor, look this up. How many people in America reportedly hate their jobs and maybe even their lives? Put that in there. I'm willing to bet most people are not completely happy, and I don't think there is such thing as complete happiness, to be honest with you. I'm 60. I was 40 10 minutes ago. Life goes fast. That was like my dad when he was 50, like almost 60. I was like, what does it feel like? It was like one day I just looked in the mirror and said, holy shit, I'm old. Like, he didn't even realize, you're not dead yet. You didn't waste your life. Make the second half count. Cheers. Yeah, I'm going to say that too. I think the comments are all going to say the same thing. Not sure, what do we got on that?
Yeah, it looks like 45 to 50% of people are dissatisfied with their job, and around 29% of people are depressed.
I'm not saying there's a simple fix to it, but like actually trying, like really, really actually trying. And I'm not talking about for just 6 months or a year. I'm talking like the next 5 years, I'm going for it. And if in 2 years it doesn't seem to be working, I got to pivot a little bit. I got to change something. But realistically, in 5 years, you mean to tell me if you didn't go all in on something and really focus on it, I would highly doubt that you wouldn't have any sort of success. And I'm not talking money. Anyways, hell of a talk. You guys leave your thoughts. The lawnmower guy's right outside the door. We're going to hang up. I'll leave the link to this guy down below, dad mode and dark mode. Yeah, I'm rooting for him. Oh, he's already at 12,000 subscribers. He's building his legacy. Unreal.